After growing up around music, Paul Simon started his first band called Tom and Jerry with his best friend Art Garfunkel in high school. They recorded their first album in 1964 entitled Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. Since then, Paul Simon has had one of the most successful music careers in American history, exploring all different genres and types of music. Paul Simon will now live on in American music history by being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is the true Hollywood story of Paul Simon.
Oh, my dear little Paul. He grew up so fast. When he was born in Newark, New Jersey in 1941, and his father and I didn't know what he'd become. We were both teachers, both little, not so conservative, but still, we knew that he was going to be something. When he met his friend Art Garfunkel in the 6th grade at Forest Hills Elementary, they just got along so well, best friends. They just did everything together. They even formed a band in high school together. They were Tom and Jerry, and they hit 49 on the pop charts with Schoolgirl, I believe it was called. They even played at all the little school dances. They were so adorable. I loved them.
Paul Simon's lyrics can be warm, deep, and usually meaningful. But sometimes Paul Simon likes to get a little crazy on us. He likes to get a little fun, happy, and trippy, if you know what I mean.
Paul Simon attended Queens College, where during his sophomore year, he reunited with his friend Art Garfunkel. They began to turn towards folk music and write folk music. He continued his professional music career after briefly attending Brooklyn Law School.
Yeah, Paul was living in London during the mid-60s, I think, and he recorded a bunch of songs with my friend Bruce Woodley of the Seekers, Red Rubber Ball, I Wish You Could Be Here, Cloudy, stuff like that. Paul Simon's purposes to his music is varied by far. He has a lot of songs and a lot of lyrics that really propose him to be more kind of down and melancholy or kind of upset with life. And there are some that are just downright hilarious. I mean, geez. He has some of the funniest lyrics, but he also has some of the, deepest lyrics. Paul Simon, in his earlier career, he wrote a lot about, losing, the love of his life, or even about how he was just down in the dumps and he just really had no meaning for life. But his later stuff was a lot more fun and a lot more meaningful. Like, for example, Paul Simon also devoted a whole CD to just the South African culture with drums and tamarines and all that stuff. He just had a really great love for music. That's part of the reason why his music is called world music, because he really expresses himself in a sort of worldly kind of way, using so many different instruments and so many different points of views to his music.
Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel cut their first album as Simon and Garfunkel in 1964. The album was called Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. On the album, the song Sound of Silence became a very big hit.
Paul Simon, American Dream, American Legend. He will live on throughout us forever. So you seem to know a lot about Paul Simon. Have you ever met him in person? Do you think that I need to meet him to know that we are connected throughout music and lyrics? I was just asking if you ever met him. I don't need to meet him. You don't know me. Do you know Paul Simon? I bet you never met Paul Simon. I'm sorry. Whatever. You don't know me. You don't know.
Paul Simon has won many awards and achievements. He's won 12 Grammys and has received a Grammy Lifetime Award in 2003. He's also been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He has been a recipient of the Kennedy Center Honors in 2003 and he was named as one of Time magazine's 100 people who shaped our world in 2006.
In this verse, he uses end rhyme to tell the story. In the first line, it starts with friend, second line again, which is A. Third line is creeping, fourth line is sleeping, B. Fifth line is brain, sixth line is remains, which is CC, and then he ends it with silence.
When I think of Paul Simon, I think of, well, honestly, a poetic genius. I haven't been listening to his music for very long, and I really haven't listened to, like, a whole CD of his music, but I've listened to a lot of his, like, newer songs and a lot of his, like, kind of classic songs. And I feel with Paul Simon, I can definitely connect with him on a more intellectual level as far as, like, lyrics go and as far as, like, the heart of it goes, because, I mean, personally, I'll be honest, I mean, some of his songs about, like, kind of being, like, paranoid of things or just, like, kind of being, down sometimes, we all can relate to that,
Paul Simon goes on to write, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashing out its warning in the words that it was forming. This is an instance of meter. Meter is just a regular pattern to the syllables and lines of poetry. In this instance, Paul Simon is using meter to convey a somber mood.
I didn't grow up listening to Paul Simon, but he still had an impact on my life. It reminds me of going to my grandparents' house. The trip from Dayton, Ohio to Southern Virginia was long, and there was a point on the road where nothing was playing on the radio but his music. But his music's still kind of happy, kind of relaxing. Makes me just feel like being out on a nice day and just looking around. It's just a nice, relaxing feeling listening to his music.
In the third verse, Paul Simon shows an example of antithesis with these lines. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening. The last two lines are a form of antithesis. Antithesis is when certain words are placed against each other to show a contrast in their ideas. When you're talking without speaking, that doesn't seem to make sense to someone just thinking logically about an idea. But if you try to look for the deeper meaning, you can see what Paul Simon was trying to convey.
I grew up listening to Paul Simon. In the car when I was little, I knew all the words to Oh Cecilia. I didn't know what it meant. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover is probably my favorite song because it's more upbeat, but it's about something that, it's about leaving, obviously, your lover. And it's just different ways that people, taking the keys, dropping off the keys, just leaving. Don't be coy, Roy is one of the lines. And it's just one of those songs that makes you think you just have to do it. You just have, no matter what it is, if it's leaving your lover or jumping in, going to a new school, moving across the country, you just have to jump in and go. Personification is when a writer or an author of any kind takes an inanimate object and makes it into an object that could be human. Another instance of Paul Simon using personification in The Sound of Silence is when he states, "And in the naked light I saw." The naked light being pure truth. After the assassination of JFK, all of America had to look and see what was going on in the country.
Thanks for watching Paul Simon, True Hollywood Story. Until next time, I guess all you'll be hearing from me is The Sound of Silence.
I don't want him calling me no more. I don't want him texting me no more. Oh, hell no!